It has been more than 100 years since Mount St. Helens last erupted, but the mountain is still an active volcano, and it has been giving off steam for the past 5 years. The mountain has been hit by several moderate earthquakes since last week, and a series of minor quakes continue. Scientists believe there's a chance those quakes mean an eruption is near. Early today, scientists set up monitoring equipment like this at 3 locations around the mountain. They say those small earthquakes are continuing at the unusual rate of nearly 40 per minute. The sensitive equipment, powered by automobile batteries, recorded 2 more quakes today. Sensors have been buried in the ground as scientists continue to study the data. The U.S. Forest Service is warning skiers to stay out of the area since the quakes have increased the danger of avalanches. There have already been a number of snowslides, but no injuries. If there is an eruption, it could threaten a number of small towns nearby, like Cougar, Washington, population 80. Some of the people here think the mountain will blow its top. Some of them don't. But not too many seem worried. Logger Jim Picker was one who felt the earthquakes.
He wasn't setting a log on me at the time, so I knew that it wasn't that.
Yeah.
And especially when the guy that owns the place was up the road working in the back of his pickup, and he said it started shaking around, and the shop truck was sitting there, and the door started shaking on it. And so he come running down there, and he says, I know it was an earthquake. And then when I put 2 and 2 together, well, I figured, well, it must have been, because I felt it too. So.
There could be a small eruption, but I don't think it's going to do anything significant or lava flow like it did years and years ago.
All of the publicity could have a positive effect on the town of Cougar, an increase in business for places like A&R Groceries.
Yeah, it'll be great for business, which is really good. It's like I said, they usually start coming up on Friday anyway. We'll probably be loaded this week with people coming up.
According to the U.S. Geological Survey, Mount St. Helens is the most explosive mountain in the continental United States. Scientists say they are virtually certain the mountain will erupt again. But even though these latest earthquakes may be a sign, they say there's no way of knowing for sure when that eruption will come. At Mount St. Helens in southwest Washington, this is Stan Wilson reporting for Channel 2 News.
What's your phone number over there?
Yes, I'm just thinking of what notes are the best notes to look at.
The command post upstairs in the Gifford Pinchot offices will be primarily used to monitor the continual air reports that are coming in from a Forest Service plane. The twin-engine craft will report back here by radio every half hour. These reports on the wall show how that's done with the information being posted. This evening they reported growing cracks near the Caldera crater. This is the most up-to-date information the officials here will have. They in turn alert ground crews. Also tonight, emergency personnel from all 3 southwestern Washington counties gathered behind closed doors to coordinate information. They just settled on where roads would be closed and who would be allowed past the roadblocks. Route 504 from Castle Rock will be closed west of milepost 20. Route N90 from Woodland will be closed at the Canal Bridge just east of Cougar. And there is an air restriction for commercial planes over the peak. Following the emergency meeting, Don Molyneux of the Geological Survey again updated media on the eruption. He focused on the pit area where ash and debris exploded out just before 1 this afternoon.
The pit is shown in red and much oversized, but that apparently is growing. That's a pit in the snow and ice of the summit crater, the old summit crater. It's just a little bit south of the north rim of that old summit crater. It goes down through the ice and snow and it goes into the rock. We're not sure that it has some very steep walls down in the rock, and so we assume there probably was some material ejected from that, but it may be also a subsidence thing, a dropping down, so that it would be called a pit crater.
Molyneux also said even a worst possible scenario would not have Portland being damaged by the volcano.
In this kind of a situation, if it went ahead and the eruption progressed, even to a much stronger eruption with much more material, the most you could get would be a relatively light ash fall that might be a little annoying, but I don't see that as a hazard.
The most important geological note is that from visible cracks, the top of the mountain is apparently expanding from magma underneath. Observation will remain around the clock.
These pictures, taken by Channel 2 photographer Tom Hopkins, are believed to be the only videotaped shots of a series of eruptions that occurred shortly before the sunset this evening. Steam began oozing from the giant crater at about 5:30. As the clashing of gases within that cauldron grew in intensity, so too did the mountain's belching. Hot ash slowly began staining the steam gray. There were clearly 5 plumes, the last of which can be seen erupting on the right-hand side of the screen.
They climbed from the clouds up to 13,000 feet or 14,000 feet in a very short time and continued in the same mode with just one mushroom-shaped bunch of material coming out after another.
Geologists are hungry for answers. Until today, they had come no closer to this giant than a helicopter could fly. But in a daring move late today, 2 government scientists landed a chopper on the ash-covered southeastern slope. While the rotor was turning, the 2 leaped out, scooped up the first samples of volcanic mud, and returned safely to the base. That ash may hold a clue to this mystery, but until testing can be completed, geologists do not know exactly what's happening within the pulsating mountain, nor will they speculate about what might happen next. They do say tonight's eruptions were the most significant and certainly the most spectacular yet. This is Robin Anderson reporting for Channel 2 News.